So I'm sure by now everyone is aware of the tokenization efforts that are underway with Archix, with the XRP Ledger, and many other big players in the space. But one thing that I really want to focus on in this video is just how big tokenization is becoming, especially around the XRP Ledger ecosystem. You know, we've been seeing a lot of big moves from players like Archix, for an example, but this is just on the small scale aspect right now. We're going to be talking about the large scale and how it is going to affect XRP. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a quick look at this, yes, there's a lot of big moves happening with some very large players like State Street through Archix with, of course, the XRP Ledger. Now, this is also happening with some other major networks as well. And even if we look at Sologenic, a lot of people don't actually focus on Sologenic. Remember that this is a project based on the XRP Ledger. And they just announced a partnership with a US-based broker-dealer to build a new platform for tokenizing capital markets. Upon regulatory approval, Solotex aims to launch in the US, allowing users to invest in securities on chain following the ultimate security standards. Listen, when we really look at what is going on here, there is a lot of very exciting moves being made. Check out this video. It's about 1 minute and 5 seconds long. And then I want to play a few other clips and really kind of address what's really happening.
Here, I'm on Wall Street in New York City, the epicenter of traditional financial services in the entire world. And our team has been here for the week for some meetings and events, and wanted to take this opportunity to announce a major partnership and joint venture that we're going to be launching with a company called Texture Capital. Texture Capital is one of the few broker-dealers in the United States that's both licensed and approved by FINRA and the SEC to tokenize and trade digital assets. This gives our company a clear path to tokenizing stocks and ETFs for both retail and institutional investors, and puts us in a position to be the premier tokenization leader in the entire world. So we'll keep you updated with other announcements and updates in the coming weeks and months, and we're excited to get started.
So again, you know, these are real legitimate moves being made, and these are ecosystem players based around the XRP Ledger. And a lot of people actually don't realize that. But, you know, if we really look at what's happening, these are the big players that you want to focus on, because it does provide exposure to the XRP Ledger. It provides, you know, major opportunity also for the XRP Ledger. I really think everyone needs to really focus on tokenization, because tokenization is going to be the next big thing. It's going to be the thing that ultimately reshapes finance forever and everything around us as well. Even over here we have, this is Bobby Zagata, CEO of Bitstamp US. He was asked what drivers will take the stablecoin market from 175 billion to 5 trillion. His answer was simple: foreign exchange. Now, you might look at this and say, well, what does this have to do with tokenization? Well, if we actually look here, we have tokenization of fiat currencies is unlocking alpha not only for the foreign exchange market, but it's unlocking stability for nations issuing debt instruments as well. And this is where we start to see pretty much everything living on chain through the FX market, every single fiat currency. I mean, this is going to get exciting very fast once we start to see the big moves being made. But check this out.
I think this is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar market by the end of the decade. And so, A, how do you respond to that thesis? And if so, what kind of drivers do you see happening that are going to take us from 175 billion to 5 trillion? Start with you, Bobby.
Sure. Yeah. So, you know, well, firstly, as you all know, the stable coin has already played such a crucial role in the development of the ecosystem. You know, I kind of think of it as not the only one, but maybe the first kind of killer use case around crypto. And what it has done is it's just reduced frictions, you know, in terms of transfer of value, and in terms of collateral, and even in terms of lending, and in terms of many, many things. When you look forward, though, I think the rest of the traditional financial services marketplace is now waking up to the importance of this, and we're going to see significant growth. And there's a couple of things that are necessary for that. I think, you know, firstly, you know, we'll have to figure out kind of interoperability. There's quite a few quality projects out there, many of which lack the ingredients, I think, but we're going to have to solve for that. The other thing that's interesting is different fiat currencies. It's not just USD anymore. there's euro, there's real, there's other things that are gaining traction, and I think that's really important too. And then finally, maybe it's a question. I think when I think of the future of stablecoins, I think about the FX marketplace, which is ginormous, $7 trillion or something like that. What does stablecoins mean for that? Blockchain seems to be a much more natural and secure way to do what happens in FX markets.
And, you know, again, as we look at the FX market, you guys got to realize that this is a $7.5 trillion per day market that Ripple does already dominate. They have exposure to 90% of it already. But also, check this out. We have over here from High Vibe, XRP holders. You guys already know the deal. Tokenization of real world assets is the ultimate goal and creation of crypto. All the world's value on chain on a unified ledger bridged by XRP. This is happening fast. The tsunami is forming. Now, check this out. This goes all the way back to Davos of 2024. And this is really kind of addressing everything going on chain, every single thing of value on chain.
Yeah, I do think it's significant in many ways. I think, you know, what you actually have here is you have a market structure, you know, a regulated market structure that is wrapped literally around cryptographic tokens, in this case, Bitcoin tokens, and the safekeeping of those, the record keeping of those, and the actual, you know, kind of underlying transfer and liquidity. And so that is a market structure that is now being interacted with by the very largest financial institutions in the world, and they're coming together and working with, you know, great firms like Coinbase and others who are providing the actual critical crypto infrastructure, you know, around some of this. So I think it's a very significant moment because it's demonstrating that you can have a security or a digital token, and you can have those work together. But I think the broader piece here is it underscores that, at least in the case of the SEC, and you could read Gensler's comments, and I think he's being pretty transparent about how he thinks about this, which is he lost a court case and he's just doesn't want to get, you know, sued again. That's kind of what he said, but I think there is more, because I think that the SEC has a much deeper understanding of this whole field and of the technology and of the operators and the risks and what kind of disclosures you might need. I think there's just a far greater understanding than 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. It just continues. And so, you know, when Larry Fink gets on television the next day and says, this is just the tipping point. This is the tipping point towards tokenization. The tokenization of financial assets broadly and of other types of property is going to change the way the financial industry works. It's going to, you know, change access to finance and financial products and other things, which I deeply believe. I think that's an indicator that, you know, I think BlackRock is perhaps one of the largest securities issuers in the world, and I think it suggests confidence that, you know, tokenization is going to be coming on in a significant way, and that we're going to see some of the very, very biggest asset issuers in the world issuing tokenized versions of those assets this year. And so that's significant. And so I do think it is not just about, is this validation for Bitcoin? I think it's about the whole technology architecture, what it represents. And I think, you know, we're all sitting here because people are interested, right? And that this is here, and it's not going away. And so I think it's a significant shift for all those reasons.
And he is 100% correct. You know, we are starting to see the largest asset, you know, issuers and managers out there jumping in on the tokenization game. And even as we really think about that, and we go to the previous, you know, Ripple Swell main stage, where Archik, this is the CEO of Archix, basically said, we think every asset will be on chain. All right. The same company that just expanded with Ripple, the same company that is issuing hundreds of millions of dollars of tokenized assets on the XRP ledger, and the same company that believes that $30 to $50 trillion worth of assets will be on the XRP ledger by the end of 2025. Check it out.
What are your thoughts on the technology, aspect of that, and bringing on things like, CSDs into the equation? How do you make these things coexist, but how do you accelerate so you get more benefit?
Yeah, that's probably where I'm a bit more bullish on the adoption of these assets. I mean, we think every asset's going to be on chain. This technology benefits the issuer, the infrastructure, the investor for numerous reasons. So it's inevitable that this is coming. And you mentioned central securities depositories. And for those that don't know, like DTCC, Euroclear, they're kind of the books and records for a lot of publicly traded securities. And every single one of them, Euroclear, Clearstream, DTCC, these guys are looking at tokenization.
So there you guys have it. And yeah, literally every single massive player out there that you can think of by name, they're looking at tokenization. Even the biggest banks, Citi, JP Morgan, they're all looking into this space and saying, how can we innovate with this technology? And I've always said, when we look at this space, even at today's market cap of like 3.3 trillion, go back in time. I put out a post back in 2023 outlining a large portion of the tokenization revolution. I said, take a second to think about the power behind tokenization. Real estate is over a $300+ trillion asset class. Equities, $100+ trillion. Debt markets, $300+ trillion. Derivatives, notional value, $600 trillion. The overall value that, potentially could be out there is 1.2 quadrillion. Securities financing, 4 trillion. Lending, 2.9 trillion. Asset management and fund administration, 89 trillion. Remember, everything of value will be tokenized eventually. Over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, we will see tens of trillions of flowing into this space through tokenization. Focus on the heavy hitters that are creating the infrastructure for this to happen. Now, of course, I do believe that Ripple and XRP are going to play a big role in this. A more updated view, by the way, of what is tokenized currently versus what's untokenized, 170 billion versus 1.64 quadrillion dollars. It's absolutely insane. And what's crazy? Monica Long, the president of Ripple, going all the way back to March of 2021. I want to bring this back up because here we have from Ripple X Dev, leveraging the same blockchain technology that powers the XRP ledger, low cost, high TPS, energy efficiency, and reliability. The CBDC private ledger is built for payments. Now, this is the president of Ripple quoting it, saying, tokenization has always been a key feature of the XRP ledger with over 5,400 plus issued tokens since inception. CBDCs will live on new private ledgers that run parallel to the XRP ledger, using XRP as a bridge to interoperate with other currencies. No more walled gardens. Then when we go back to this video over here, when we talk about foreign exchange being the big focus of the stablecoin market, combined with the fact that Ripple is now issuing a stablecoin on the XRP ledger as well, and we now know that Ripple is pushing for institutional DeFi, where do you think we're headed? We're headed towards a world where we have these big banks issuing out deposit tokens. We have central banks issuing out CBDCs. And a lot of this is going to be through that private ledger technology that Ripple is utilizing. But it's going to be utilizing XRP as a bridge currency to interoperate with all other currencies. This is very, very bullish for XRP. And, again, if we're talking about the much larger market here, we can potentially see XRP trading at much higher values than what anyone can assume. I've always said this, right? When we look at XRP right now, there's over 13 million XRP burned. But this is taken into accountability that 92 plus million ledgers have been closed on the XRP ledger, aka transactions that have been completed, and closed ledgers in general. You can see actually the validated ledgers down here. You can see the fee here in terms of the burned XRP as well. As we really think about XRP being burned, and as we look at transactions per second, if the XRP ledger had, say for so, 20,000 transactions per second, I'm just throwing a number out there, okay? Imagine how much XRP would be burned. I'm bringing this up because as we look at tokenization, as we look at how big this market is, if $10 trillion was on the XRP ledger tomorrow, do you think that's just going to sit there? Absolutely not. Even David Schwartz told you that it's not about the tokenized asset itself, it's what you can do with it. And here we have from Colin Brown, boom. Tokenization on the XRP ledger is coming soon. Trillions of dollars are about to flow into XRP. $100 is just the beginning. Now listen, how long is it going to take for XRP to hit $100? Nobody will be able to tell you that. Is it going to happen? We don't know. It all depends on how much adoption is there and how much goes on the XRP ledger. In my opinion, is it possible? It is. Is it going to happen this year? No. Is it going to happen next year? Probably not. But I do believe that at some point in time, this entire space is going to shock a lot of people that think that, oh, these can't, go to X and so, amount. You got to remember that this is technology that is reshaping every single thing around us. But check this out.
I'm hoping that we're going to see, as real-world asset tokenization projects grow, I think the XRP Ledger is going to be a really good platform for them to launch on, particularly because of the low fees and because of the integration with the DEX, with the proximity to sort of the movement of funds. The ability, if someone's going to buy, what do you want to do with a real-world tokenized asset? You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to hold it, you want to transfer it. And if you want to buy it and sell it, you want to be able to do that with whatever asset is convenient for you. You don't want to tie, if you tokenize some sort of debt, like you don't want to tie it to US dollars because then that limits access to it to people who have sort of proximity to US dollars. One of the things the XRP Ledger is good for is giving you sort of proximity to many different assets, and that exchange is seamlessly built in. So I think that's going to make, that's one of the many reasons why the XRP Ledger is going to be a good place to launch tokenized real world assets. I think we'll see that in the next year, year and a half.
And again, the big thing here is to transact, right? Being able to transact and convert and, do whatever with those tokenized assets. That's what makes the XRP Ledger so special. That's what makes tokenization so special as well, because this is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar network effect. And if we're thinking about that, and if we're looking at how much XRP has been burned already with the amount of closed ledgers and transactions, imagine how much XRP will be burned and how scarce XRP could technically become if we do see mass institutionalization happening on the XRP Ledger through tokenization initiatives. In my opinion, a lot of people are not thinking about this logically. They're not taking into accountability the long-term path here, because when I think about what's happening around the space, when I think about the biggest players jumping into this space from the financial world, I just can't imagine a future where XRP isn't trading at a very high valued price. And a lot of these other utility projects also doing pretty much a very similar move as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.